But the contrast between Cain and Abel goes well beyond the common differences between siblings. The first contrast we see is in verse 2, when it says that when they grew up, Abel became a shepherd while Cain cultivated the ground. These are two very contrasting vocations, especially in that time, because these are the very first two vocations that are mentioned in the Bible. So by nature, they contrast each other. In verses 3 through 5, it says, when it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected. On the surface, if we don't really think much about it, it seems almost as if the Lord had been unfair to Cain, but that is not the case. Both of these men presented gifts to the Lord. And from doing some study, I've discovered that the Hebrew uses the equivalent of our English word offering. So it's better to say that these two men presented an offering to the Lord. And that is where the similarity stops, however, and the contrast then begins. Cain may have brought some of his crops, but Abel brought from among the first he had and from among the best of the first that he had. And that's the difference between the two and their offerings. And now it could be easily ascertained just from looking at that God accepted Abel's offering simply because he gave of his best, and that God did not accept Cain's offering because he simply did not give of his best. And that would not be entirely untrue, but there is just a little bit more to it than that. God saw this at work in Cain and warned him. Again, looking at chapter 4, verses 6 and 7, why are you so angry? Why do you look so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right, but if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master. Cain did not heed God's warning, but instead dove headlong into sin. And did you notice how Cain talked normally with his brother before he murdered him? He just talked casually with Abel. Hey, let's go out into the fields. Hey, let's go out into the fields, brother. Something that, if you think about it, they both worked out in the fields. And so choose today to live your life to please God, because look at everything that he has done. And I think I broke the record for the longest sermon that Keith has ever preached. And so let us end with a moment of prayer. Lord Jesus, we give you praise, we give you thanks, because we see the contrast between these two.